Hey there, survivors. How's it going? I'm your host, Douglas here at Drumboy Productions, bringing you another Trick or Treat Studios product review. And today we are done clowning around. We have recently been taking a look at many different clown masks by Trick or Treat Studios, but today we're going to be starting a new franchise with Saw. We're going to be continuing our journey taking a look at many different Trick or Treat Studios masks and products this season by taking a look at yet another slasher, or more so, arguably a slasher. I'm happy to announce that today we're going to be taking a look at the Pig Mask from Saw. The Pig Mask in Saw is one of the most iconic pieces of imagery in the franchise. I wouldn't necessarily say the most iconic, I think that's reserved for someone else, but this mask is primarily worn by the Jigsaw killer whenever they are abducting people. So really the pig mask is more of an abduction mask. You don't typically see it too much whenever the people are in the traps or even face to face with whoever the Jigsaw killer may be. I keep using air quotes for killer, and I mention that it's somewhat considered a slasher because for those of you who are huge fans of Saw, you already know there are multiple Jigsaw killers. I'm not going to name them all just in case any of you watching have not seen all the films, but there are many different people who act as the Jigsaw killer. And some of them definitely deserve the title killer because they put people into traps they never had a chance of escaping. Some of them even outright did just kill people. However, the one that we most traditionally associate with the Jigsaw name is John Kramer. And John is a character that has been heavily debated as to whether he is a killer or not just kind of in the morality of the films itself, but of course even in real life. Many people argue that John did nothing wrong, or even make the argument that technically he didn't kill these people, he just put them in a situation where they were more than likely going to lose. But if they valued life enough and pushed through dismemberment, they would come out on the other side still living and maybe grateful of the life they still had. But the pig mask here is typically worn during the abduction of the victims to be placed into traps. And here we have the modern day officially licensed Saw Pig Mask by Trick or Treat Studios. This is actually not the first officially licensed Saw Pig Mask. There was actually one that was put out by Don Post Studios, and in fact, I'm pretty certain that the main pig mask that is used in Saw was actually just a Don Post pig mask in the first place. More or less the original version is what you would see here, minus the stitches on the mouth, the hair being added, and of course another feature that is present on this that you don't really see too much in the movies, either because the hood being on the pig mask or just in general, is on the back here, there's a lot of gore, making this look like you're actually wearing a severed pig's head. So even the original mask design was still pretty gruesome and disgusting. However, for Saw, they ended up adding the black wig, of course, the stitches to the mouth, and I believe, of course, some of them have a lot more blood, in particular, running from the eyes. Don Post, of course, did release their own version as well, which did have the stitching, the hair added, and I do own one of those, but the Trick or Treat Studios version actually looks a little bit better in my opinion. Granted, I have not put them side by side, my original is still at home, but just looking at this one in hand, it looks a lot better. Another odd detail about the Don Post version is it has jagged cut pieces of latex at the bottom of the neck, painted red to look like it's flesh. It really doesn't pull off the effect super well, but I guess it's kind of an interesting detail. But enough about the Don Post version, we're here to talk about the updated Trick or Treat Studios version. First things first, as far as the sculpt, it looks pretty spot on. It's actually so close that it could be made off of the original. I do know that Trick or Treat Studios now owns Don Post Studios, and so they should realistically be able to release the same original sculpture, just repainted in their modern day finishing. And they have been doing that with a lot of different products that Don Post put out, so I'm not sure if they used the original sculpture here and did any retooling or something, but it looks a little bit different from how I remember the original copies looking. Yet again, I don't have mine here in hand to put them side by side, but just from what I remember, I think there's some differences in detail. We'll get to that a little bit later when we take a look at the website, but overall, sculpture-wise, I think it really captures the look pretty perfect. The ears look nice, the snout, of course, just the shape of the face overall, side profile there looks really good, and of course, one of the most underappreciated parts of this mask is the gore on the back of the head. That looks really, really cool, really gnarly, but really, really cool sculpture. And then as far as the paint finishing, I think they did a pretty excellent job here. The original, of course, just looks like a fleshy pig mask, but then of course in the movie they are a little bit dirtier, grungier, and some of them do even have the blood tears, which what we have here is a pretty nice, clean, fleshy copy. And then of course we get to the hair. Now this is one that could be kind of varying from copy to copy, depending on how they stitch in the hairline. This one's a little bit uneven, but it's not too bad. And that is another thing to point out. This is a stitched on hairline. Whereas with some of the previous masks, I'm pretty sure the Dom Post one in particular did use a wig that was more or less glued on, and I believe maybe stitched in around the edges. It's worth noting that it is machine punched, not hand punched. The hairline would look a lot better if it was hand punched, but would take a lot more time to make. Doing it this way definitely makes sense, and personally I do like this a bit more than the wig, at least on this style of mask. I think the punched hair doesn't go with every single mask that needs hair, but some of them it definitely works exceptionally well on. The length of the hair looks fine as well, so really no complaints there. This is one of the products that overall I don't really think needs any touch-up work. Of course, if you do want to customize it, make it look dirtier, grungier, add the blood tears, stuff like that, you definitely can, but honestly, pretty perfect right off the shelf. So would it have been cool to offer at least another version that was dirtier and bloodier? I think so, but personally, these look pretty awesome. So if you're interested in throwing together a full Jigsaw Killer costume, you can pretty much pick up the entire thing from Trick or Treat Studios. They offer the robe, and they of course do offer the mask. And we've reached the point in the video where I read you all the excerpt directly from the Trick or Treat Studios website, so let's go ahead and take a look. Here we have the Saw Pig Mask for $59.99, sculpted by Neil Kinnermore. Trick or Treat Studios is proud to present the officially licensed Saw Pig Mask, sculpted by the artist that sculpted a number of the characters from Universal Studios' Halloween Horror Nights Saw Maze, and using countless screenshots, every detail of the amazing Saw Pig is represented in this mask, including a stitched mouth with real threaded stitches, professional quality long black hair wig, it's not even a wig, I don't think, it's stitched in. Anyways, a blood-soaked back with protruding bone. Get yourself our Saw Pig Mask and Jigsaw costume sold separately, and ask trick-or-treaters if they want to play a game this Halloween night. See that? That is a fun write-up. I love it. Just that little ask trick-or-treaters if they want to play a game this Halloween night. Just a little something extra like that just shows so much more care and attention. I love it. And as for the price, $59.99, that is pretty standard for a deluxe latex mask. That's kind of the low end at this point. Some are creeping up to the $79.99 range. So for that price, honestly, I don't think you can really beat it. So yeah, if you're interested in putting together a full Jigsaw Killer costume, you can get the pig mask and the robe directly from Trick or Treat Studios or one of the many other retailers that carries their products. And with that being said, I think that about does it for today's video. I love you all. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Stay tuned for some more videos coming very soon, and I'll see you next time.